What's up, everyone? I'm Tons, and this is going to be the official start of our review and play. Now, for those of you who participated in episode 0, it's great to see you again. Welcome back. And for those of you who are just now jumping in, welcome. It's great to see you. Now, I'm going to say this one more time, just for those who didn't get to hear it in the previous episode. But if it turns out that the commentary is not quite your thing, I will be posting no commentary versions of each part going forward. So hopefully there's something for you to enjoy here. If you do love the commentary, well, that's great, because I intend to keep doing that, obviously. And we are going to start a new game. Now, in the previous episode, we did quite a bit of testing. And we tested hard mode and normal. And it's kind of a shame, really, because this game, unlike other games, is one that I would have liked to have played on hard, to be honest with you, or even extreme, because it seems like it does offer a different experience, not just tediousness. However, it's not very balanced, and the typical issues I have are still present. So I noticed the input lag more. I noticed other issues with the combat because they matter quite a bit more on harder difficulties. But in addition to that, I believe I could have overlooked all of that if not for the fact that your companions cannot handle hard mode. They cannot do it. They will be dead in no time. And this was with regular battles at the start of the game. The companions died in almost every single battle. In an extreme, I can only imagine the companions must start off in coffins for each fight. So we're going to go with normal.
Could you stand a little taller, just a tad?
Like this?
Yes. The chin a tiny bit lower. Gaze a little more to the right. There! Now, hold the pose.
Now, previously I talked about how I liked the concept, and it was unique. It was a unique way to do the immersion of character creation without doing the mirror, character looking in a mirror. Not knocking that idea, I love that too, but I do think they deserve credit for going a different route. But I did not care for the execution, because I do not think you should ever be able to see what the character looks like in a scene, and damn sure shouldn't be able to hear them talk when the character hasn't even decided their appearance or their gender, which will dictate how they sound. But there's some other critiques I have for this. There's not a lot of options, which is fine, I guess. But there's some things where I would have liked to have seen more options, definitely. And I would say that's the hair. And maybe the hair color. Maybe not the hair color. Hair color, I think there's enough options. But the eye color, I would have liked to see more options with that. As I said in the previous episode, I had an idea what we were going to go for. And we're going to do the opposite of what I would normally do and play as a female character. Now there's some other wackiness to this character creator that I didn't mention in the previous episode, or I didn't talk much about it. But the character doesn't quite look the same when you're actually in the game versus in a character creator. And this is not uncommon. You see that problem in other games as well. But it also sucks that you can't change your appearance after the fact. Yeah, like we're going pretty much the full opposite of what I would normally do as far as appearance. And here's another thing that I thought was strange. The face determines your skin tone, and it also changes what skin color does. So with this face, moving in this direction makes you lighter, moving in this direction makes you darker. And I believe it's the same with this face. However, with this face, it's the opposite. That makes you lighter, this makes you darker. It's kind of weird for me. It's a strange thing to me. And chances are she's going to look much darker than she does here. The mark also changes color depending on which face you go with, which I do not like that aspect. If it could be a different color, then I would have liked control over which color. Like, let us be able to pick the color of the mark, and if it was going to be a fixed color, then it should have been one color regardless, in my opinion. What I would like to do is try to match her eye color to the color of her mark, which I am curious as to what that design choice was like. Meaning, I'm willing to bet they moved the mark around several times trying to pick a spot, and then they settled on this. And I'm not sure if I would have excuse me, if I would have done the same. Because when I first saw this mark in the trailer, I thought it was facial hair. I thought it was a mutton chop. So when they were showing the female character, I saw that and I'm like, oh, you can pick mutton chops as a female character. That's good, I guess. That's pretty progressive, I suppose. And it turned out it was a mark. I told you guys before, if you saw that before, I'm not doing the opposite of that. I'm doing what I normally do. Warrior. I don't usually wield blunt weapons, which is what strength is for in this game. I'm bladed. Eventually we will wield a compensator, a large two-handed sword. That is going to happen. And the reason we're choosing to play as a female, even though almost every single time I play as a male, well, the kind of character I would have made, it really bothered me quite a bit. The voice, and I just couldn't overlook it. I was trying, but it did bother me quite a bit that the voice was so out of sync with what our character looked like. And if I make a male character, that's how they're going to look, basically, in every single case. So you have that. And then in addition, I think most people have picked guy characters. And we're going to try to pick things, not in every case, but sometimes we're going to try to pick things that other people likely wouldn't.
Just a few more minutes. You have such an incredibly singular face. That's a compliment, my lady, out of my mouth. Your particularity gives you character.
You're still here?
We have nearly finished.
Oh, that's so much better.
Have you any more need of me, Master?
You haven't forgotten that we're setting sail today, have you?
Of course not.
Your cousin is nowhere to be found. I've searched the palace from cellars to attics. Your uncle is beside himself.
He was of a mind to paint the town last night. Don't worry. I shall track him down. Make care to your own preparations without wrinkling another frown. We'll meet you on the boat.
It's about time your cousin took account of the responsibilities awaiting him. He should go and inform the ambassadors of Telemi and the Bridge Alliance of his departure.
Have no fear, Master. I will go and see them in his name. I beg your pardon, but urgent matters call me away. Might we finish all this later?
Impossible, my lady. You are leaving with the tide, if what I've been told is correct.
I am sorry, sir, truly. I must be going.
My lady, please, I beg you. Her Highness has personally requested I finish.
Thank you, cousin, for getting me out of that.
See, she's a bit darker than what we picked, which is fine. I'm okay with that. I think she looks good, and her voice, yes, it works for me, personally. Now, I did not purchase anything special that I'm aware of. Your character just starts with these things. And it does not adapt to what class you pick. So you can actually pick a class where you are unable to use this weapon you start with, and that's it. Like, you would think if you start as a mage, then they'd give you like an alchemist ring or something, but no, it does not adapt. They don't give a damn. But yes, you should have started with these clothes on. I mean, you're being painted. This is what you want to be painted in. You know what I mean? And I hate the inventory menu. Like, I hate how it doesn't isolate your character. You're confined. And people can walk in front of you and block your vision. I don't know why they went that route. But our character is Haeva de Seren. And this will be her story. Another thing I noticed, watch the camera. See how it kind of moves up and down, like, and all around. Like, I don't understand that design. It's the same thing with this. Like, if you notice, see how the boxes jostle a little bit? I have no idea what that is about. I don't know why they did things this way.
Hey! Green blood!
Kurt!
And so the day has finally come. My royal fledglings are leaving the nest.
Accompanied by their most loyal and tenacious master of arms.
As loyal as your
Haeva
gold.
looks good.
Enough with the cold mercenary. I know you like us. Still hiding your men in the unsuspecting shadows of the greats of this world, I see.
Hey, our blades are the only thing keeping you dainties alive.
Kurt, I'm not in need of your protection. I'm no longer a child, you know.
Is that so? Well, let's see. Fight with honor!
But yes, I find the camera thing strange. Because I've never seen that before. Like, you're just sitting there and it's moving. Now, this isn't something I really noticed all that much. However, I know people that have issues with motion sickness. And this actually bothers them. Like, they're sensitive to motion. And whereas usually it's first person that they can't really play, in this game the third person actually bothers them. It can make them feel a little nauseous. Not everyone that suffers from motion sickness is like that, but there are some that they were unpleasantly surprised by the fact that this game makes them motion sick in the third person. So it bothers me that in the cutscene there were all these people there, but before the cutscene they had nowhere to be seen. I don't like that kind of thing. I'm not timing my parries right.
You defend yourself well, Greenblood. One might think you had a proper master of arms.
The best.
You already training for your new post of legate? Don't tire yourself. Flattery'll get you nowhere. But for the fight, you have remembered your basics. Your performance just got you out of a final lesson. Unless you want to go through the paces again before we depart.
Winning gives you the choice, losing, you automatically go through the basics. We're going to go through the basics because they give you a little bit more ammo if you go this route.
I'd be up for that. A little last-minute training couldn't hurt.
In that case, Otto here is going to be your training partner. Go! Fight with honor!
Plus, Haeva will never look down on an opportunity to refresh her knowledge. Yeah, they make you go through this anyway, even if you do it beforehand. Another thing I like, if you notice in the corner, you have 12 hotkeys with a controller. And that's awesome because too many developers treat the controller very unfairly, such as Mass Effect Andromeda. And they do not give you a lot. Like, they'll give the keyboard people a ton. No pun intended. But then the controller people, they're like, well, controllers are limited. Yeah, they're limited compared to keyboards, but they're not that limited. Like, you can do a lot more with them than developers will usually allow, or do by default. I know because I've made game controller profiles for games, and I made one for Guild Wars 2, and I could do pretty much everything a person could do on a keyboard using my controller. Oh, I'm so happy. I cannot play with mouse and keyboard. Oh wow, we can take this fight out of the courtyard. Well, in harder modes, every flaw with the combat, you notice it. One of them is the camera is not your friend a lot of times. And it will get you killed in hard modes. I'm not timing that right. But apparently I did well enough. They're not going to attack. Now in hard mode they will. They'll keep attacking no matter what you do.
It appears we've brushed up on the basics.
It does. And I'd like to be on my way. I've quite the list of things to do before we depart.
Indeed. Remember that you can always train in our barracks on the island if you're feeling rusty.
Are your bags packed for the great departure?
Yes, you know I get by with very little. You're not angry that I'm coming with you, I hope.
Oh, and there's another reason why we chose a female. Because some things are different if you're a female. They may be minor, but still, it was another good incentive. She's pleased he is accompanying her because Haeva respects competence and Kurt is competent. At least he is in normal mode. In hard mode, he is not.
On the contrary, I am thrilled that both you and Sir de Corsillon are joining our party. A few friends at your side in unknown territory is a boon.
Don't tell me the old school teacher is competing against me. By the way, where is our future governor hiding? I was hoping to put his skills to the test as well.
I've no idea. He had plans to celebrate his departure last night, and we haven't seen him since. You know Constantine. I should have gone with him, but my heart wasn't in the mood for a celebration. The thought of bidding my mother farewell.
It is never easy to say goodbye. But you should be going to see her now. She must be waiting for you. I'll meet you in front of the palace. Then we'll go and find Constantine together.
Very well. I'll meet you as soon as I've said my goodbyes.
Yes. But the dialogue was different. Seems like good old Kurt, Upskirt Kurt, alright, I'm gonna stop calling him that, has a thing for Haeva here, which Haeva does not reciprocate. Apparently he's known her since he was since she was a child, rather, and was training her. And I see him as a grizzled, older, seasoned guy, like Wolverine, Logan, you know. So no, Haeva's got no interest in him.
What is this? Have you not been taught to knock? I've asked 1,000 times. Oh, it's you, my dear child.
Mother, I'm sorry. I'm having trouble getting used to your condition.
Come now, let's speak of more pleasant things. I'm so very happy to hear your voice. You remind me so much of your father. I do miss him so. Today is the big day, isn't it? Ready to set sail for that island everyone's talking about.
Yes, but the idea of leaving you behind, alone and ill.
Dying, my child. Alas, there is nothing you can do by staying that would ease my suffering. One thing brings me cheer. They say the island is full of miracles, and we might find a cure.
Even if I were to find it, I would never be able to return in time to...
I know. But it brings me comfort to know my daughter has left on a mission to heal her people. Come now. It is time for you to take leave. Here, take this with you.
What is it?
A family heirloom. Something that... Take it and keep it with you. May it bring you good luck. All my blessings go with you, my child. Now, be off.
See, to me, excuse me, you take the risk. You smuggle her on board. You bring her with you. She may not make it, but you take the risk, because it's better than her just sitting here waiting to die. Now, I did not like the hat too much playing as a male. I hate it even more playing as a female, because of the time we spent on her hair. Okay, it wasn't that much, but still. I like her hair. I understand the hat fits the atmosphere, blah, blah, blah. And some of you are like, oh, it's nice. But no, I don't care for it. I prefer this look. And it really sucks that there's no hide helmet function in this game, or a way to hotkey equipment like you can in Skyrim, and then you could easily place the hat on. Now look what happened back there. It would be nice. I know games aren't going to do this generally, but man, would it have been nice if acknowledging that she is royalty, like we see these guys salute her as she walks out, a person walking across stops and waits for you to continue walking, you know, like little stuff like that. For me, it's the little things. Let's talk to Kurt. People were like, run. No, sometimes we walk.
Kurt. It's done.
Sorry, Greenblood. Look, we can see the masts of the ship that'll be taking us. This is one sacred adventure we're embarking on.
I hope this island will keep its promises.
In order to know that, we'll need to find Constantine first.
You were right. Maybe he is already at the port. He was so eager to leave.
This will be quite the chore to finish before our departure. The commander wants to recover some merchandise from our supplier, but the transporter doesn't want to deliver. I did all I could to persuade. Nothing came of it. All the parliamenting fatigues me. But this is your domain. I wouldn't say no to a little help.
Of course. Where is the supplier located?
In the lower boroughs, near the port.
Right then. We'll put it on our list of visits.
Where would you like to begin?
I've been asked to pay visits to the ambassadors of Thélème and the Bridge Alliance before our departure. Their dwellings are not far from here. We could go there first.
Very well. Do you think Constantine will be waiting for us next to the ship?
I don't know, but it is certainly worthy of inspection.
Greenblood, do you need something?
Yes, we need to ask you this creepy question.
I wondered if you ever felt lonely.
I always do. Why, do you want to rectify this?
I have a feeling, based on how he responded earlier, that no matter how we respond, it's different from if you're a male character. You know what, Haeva's like, sure, why not? Respond in the affirmative.
And what if I said yes?
Slow down, fair lady. You're far too noble to be making such offhand propositions to a boorish soldier like me. Anything else?
No, that'll be all.
I must leave you.
No, we have to see the other one. I'm sorry, we do.
I wondered if you ever felt lonely.
I always do. Why, do you want to rectify this?
I hope to have kept you good company for all these years. After all, we were always together.
And these memories I hold dear. You've always been extraordinary, Greenblood, but I had to watch over you. You were my responsibility. That didn't leave us much time for friendship.
What about now?
Now, I hope that we'll have more time. Anything else?
I must leave you.
You know, I mean, we're not going to exit the game and choose the other one because I don't think it makes that much of a difference. But it feels like no matter which option you choose, if you play as the female character, you hit on Kurt. Like, it feels that way. I could be wrong. I would love to hear your opinions on it. Time to scrap some never-do-wells.
To my house! And death to the others!
Oh. Oh, really? What is she, chopped liver? He just ran right by her. Oh, man. See, after playing on hard, I'm not gonna lie. It makes normal feel lackluster. It kinda does, but... like, seriously. Oh,
Where would
man.
you like to begin?
I've been asked to pay visits to the ambassadors of Thélème and the Bridge Alliance before our departure. Their dwellings are not far from here. We could go there first.
Very well. Do you think Constantine will be waiting for us next to the ship?
I don't know, but it is certainly worthy of inspection.
I'm sorry if the way I move around drives you a little crazy, because I try not to miss anything. And some of those people I know that get motion sick are people I know in real life, and they've seen me play games, and sometimes they can't watch because I do all this, and I'm just like, try not to miss any loot. But yeah, and keep in mind, I understand trying to balance things is very difficult. Such as trying to balance challenge with player ability. So keep that in mind when I critique the execution, that I understand that it's difficult. I'm just speaking about what I wish to see, and man, it just kind of sucks that the balancing didn't play out so well here. It's like if Kurt, if your companions were more competent, thought they were bad guys. I was about to start hitting them. But if your companions were more competent during harder modes, I probably would have actually liked to have played this on a harder mode. Preferred it even. Torn out diary page. Alright. Yeah. My pains are getting stronger and stronger. My guts are churning. It is getting harder and harder for me to run the shop. Some evenings I can't even feel my legs anymore. It's as though they've turned to ice. There's no longer any doubt. The Malachor has got me like so many others. Today I had so little strength that I couldn't even cross the road to get to my shop. I almost said to get to the other side. Stupid chicken crossing the road joke. Who needs books when everybody is dying anyway? All that's left for me to do is drag myself to the little dispensary they installed behind the barracks and hope they can ease my suffering. Thank you, thank you. This has been a terrible reading by Tons. Maybe that should be another series. Terrible readings by Tons. Alright, these are bad guys. Alright, I can work with this. Wait a minute, why? Oh no, it's a rifle guy. See, like the fact that none of us focus on a rifle person would mean instant death. And hard mode. Now what's strange is I did not hit the button to target anyone, because I found in group settings targeting one attacker can make it easier for the other attackers to beat you down. Told you, we're trying to loot it all. What is that? Huh. Now for those of you that don't know, yes, we can strip Kurt's shirt and wear it. We can do that. which we will do if the situation arises where it makes sense to do so. Like if we encounter a chest that requires lockpicking, since his shirt has lockpicking on it, we will put it on to open said chest. Now I have glossed over some commentary regarding this game, and one of the complaints people have had was the fact that you can't jump in this game. And usually I would be right with those people. I have had complaints. I'm like, man, it's 2019. How do you have a game where you can't jump, right? But it's really about the game. See, I don't ever feel the need to jump. Or the feeling is so rare that it doesn't bother me that jump is not in this game.
Your Excellency.
Lady de Seren, I have been told that you were named Legate. Congratulations. Those are great responsibilities for someone as young as yourself. But you will bring honor upon your family and the congregation. Of that I'm certain.
I thank you, Excellency. I've come here to inform you of our departure for Tir Freddy. My cousin Constantine is taking office as governor of New Seren, and I'm accompanying him.
I had no idea you would be leaving so quickly. What a shame. I had thought... Well, then, that is a pity. Have a pleasant voyage. A brilliant future awaits you. They say that it is a marvelous island. Please convey to your cousin my congratulations and sincere wishes for success.
You seem slightly hesitant. Please, tell me what troubles you.
A rather unscrupulous individual has been sowing trouble in Seren. A charlatan passing himself off as an alchemist.
Do people actually give credence to these lies?
Alas, yes. They snatch up his celebrated panacea. Remedies worse than the ill, believe me. As you can well imagine, alchemists are our pride. This vulgar trickster casts dirt upon their reputation and our own at the same time. In any city of the Bridge Alliance, we would have arrested him. But here, we respect your laws.
I shall see what I can do, but make no promises. My departure is imminent.
I thank you, Excellency. And I am pleased to see you have taken so well to your new functions of diplomacy. The man operates in the city center. He is said to be clever and mean. Be careful.
He said, but here we listen to your laws like you have a choice. Of course you listen to our laws. And she hasn't done anything yet. He's already praising her. Beware people that give praise prematurely like that. Now this, I have mixed feelings about this stuff. I'll explain in a second, or after we're done going through it all.
Would you be so kind as to tell me what you know about the Bridge Alliance?
With pleasure. A legate needs to know the history and strengths of her allies. The alliance was sealed by several nations of the Bridge around 200 years ago. The greatest of our cities, Al-Sad, became the capital, and a council formed from the different nations now rules. This union was originally put into place to better resist the appetites for conquering our neighbors. But our ancestors quickly realized that the union had also strengthened us economically and culturally. And of course, exchanges in knowledge were strongly encouraged from the outset. Today, it is by no means an overstatement to claim that the Bridge Alliance leads our world in science and exploration. Each day, we push the limits of our understanding further in each and every domain.
Could you give me your understanding of the relations between the congregation and the Bridge?
Our relations hang essentially on the quality of our trade and commerce. The exchanges are very profitable, especially on the cultural front. I will not hide from you that we have hoped you would join our number for quite some time. But your princes insist on maintaining a neutral stance between the congregation and the other nations on the continent. It is by all means a respectable position, even if it means you also trade with our enemies.
The Bridge Alliance has been on Tirfredi for much longer than we have. What can you tell me?
It is true that we founded Hikmet, our newest city, around 15 years ago now. Alas, I haven't been able to go there myself. I can only tell you what others have reported to me. It is a luxurious island. An enormous dead volcano thrones in its center. The vegetation is extremely varied, and the fauna wondrous. We discovered animals that we had never ever seen before. Some are bigger than houses. But they're not the only occupants of the island. A savage and crude people also live there, who speak an incomprehensible language. But you shall discover all of this for yourself soon enough.
I don't like your attitude towards the natives, my friend.
And what of your war with Thélème?
It has been dragging on. In fact, it has been dragging on for years. It is madness. If those bigots hadn't gotten it in their heads to convert the entire continent, we wouldn't be in this situation. But that's the way of the world. We shall not waver, whether here or on Tirfredi.
Have you been fighting battles there as well?
From what I've been told, Thélème has wisely and tastefully built their colony far from our city. Direct conflicts are in fact quite rare. But one day they will inevitably take place.
I need to be going. Goodbye, Excellency.
Goodbye, Lady de Seren.
So another thing the developer has to balance is the fact that the player doesn't know everything that the character would. So most of that conversation, there are things that Haeva would know, even though we don't. So on that front, you choose to cater to the player, not the character, and that makes sense. But at the same time, I would like the dialogue to serve another purpose, not just as an info dump, not just as exposition.
Good day, Excellency.
Lady de Seren, to what do I owe the pleasure?
I have come to inform you that my cousin Constantine and I are departing for Tirfredi on the hour.
Ah, yes. I did indeed hear talk that you had both received callings of greater stature. Allow me to congratulate you. Were you not named legate of the congregation?
You are correct, Excellency. I thank you.
It is a station of great honor that I am sure you will fill with brio and panache. The Mother Cardinal Cornelia will be enchanted to work with you, and your cousin in the future. I only regret that your departure is so sudden.
Really?
To be entirely honest with you, I was hoping to solicit your help in a rather delicate matter.
Tell me more about it, and perhaps I can take care of your problem before my departure.
Very well. A small group of dangerous heretics has found refuge in Seren. We know that your uncle tolerates the presence of all pagans within the city walls. But these particular non-believers threaten the fragile harmony of this place. We would consider it a tremendous favor if you would arrest them and deliver them to our guard.
Heresy is not a crime in Seren. You do know that, but I'm sure that my uncle would hear your arguments. Why call on my intervention?
The prince would indeed give us his blessing, but it would take time. Far too much time. For according to our sources, these fugitives have already made contact with a smuggler to take them who knows where.
I see. You were hoping that I'll be able to do something before they make it to an enemy city. If your heretics are planning on boarding a ship, then they must be in the dockyards. I'll look into this and see what I can do.
Time for some info dump. But, like for example, in Skyrim, some of the books that you read would add to your skills. Or you could do it to where there's another stat called knowledge, and the more knowledge the character gains from these conversations, it may provide other dialogue options. You know, any number of things, but something other than exposition is what I'm saying. Like, I understand why it's done.
Could you tell me anything about Thélème?
But, you know.
It would be a pleasure. As you already know, our glorious nation is guided by our faith. We follow the teachings of Matthias, our founder and greatest prophet, and give thanks each day to the Luminous for having gifted us magic. The high dignitaries of Thélème are at the same time our spiritual guides, advocates, and grand mages.
I've heard say that dissensions have appeared recently in your nation.
Ah, you must certainly be speaking about the debates that have divided the Ordo Luminous and the more political orders. The Lord Luminous has an extremely pure vision of our faith and applies the words of our saint very strictly. But other, more open-minded factions exist within our nation. They believe that a less rigid dialectic would attract souls more readily to our faith. But their differences are purely theoretical, and do not threaten the cohesion of our nation, I assure you.
Translation. They threaten the cohesion of our nation. Like, he seems to like the Ordo Luminous, or whatever they're called. He believes in that strict stuff.
What is your point of view on the relations between our two nations?
As ambassador of Thélème, I can only rejoice at the mention of our commercial treaties. We appreciate as well the welcome that your uncle gave to our missionaries. Thanks to your support, more and more believers wander your lands. The congregation is our most precious ally. To be perfectly honest, we have only two complaints. That heresy is tolerated, and that your treaties with the Bridge Alliance are maintained.
Now, Haeva would have put her foot down right there while you watch your mouth. Now, if you're wondering why that chair is empty, is because even though Constantine doesn't say anything when he should be saying pretty much everything during these meetings, they account for the possibility of him being there in the scene, and he will sit in that chair. Though to me, if he isn't present, I feel like Kurt should be the one that's sitting in the chair, instead of just standing there creepily behind Haeva, like he's doing right now.
How is Thélème faring on Tirfredi?
We built a marvelous city, San Matthias, on the western coast of the island. Did you know that certain historians believe that it might well have been the final resting place of our prophet? Our missionaries there are a multitude. Not a day passes without new islanders joining our sacred faith. Of course, there are certain pockets of resistance. There is talk of a demonic cult, disgusting creatures. But I am confident that the Ordo Luminous will be able to put an end to these horrors. And we have tremendous hopes that the entire native population will join our ranks.
Not if Haeva has anything to do with it.
How goes the conflict with the Bridge Alliance?
Your territory is, alas, the only one that has been spared from the ravages of war on the continent. We fight on every front. Without great success, one must say. But what other choice do we have? These so-called savants not only refuse the light, but are determined in their fight against it.
And on Tirfredi?
To my knowledge, no one has yet seen any serious fighting. The bridge have succeeded in provoking the natives there, and have their hands full keeping them at bay. Which leaves us greater latitude to settle peacefully and pursue our mission of conversion.
I must be going. Farewell, Excellency.
May the light guide you, de Sade.
So we'll have to give them a chance.
The merchant is there.
As he mentions, it seems like Thélème has two different factions. But I can tell you that based on him, Haeva would not have a good relationship with Thélème. I don't even know if she'd have a good relationship with the Bridge Alliance. But we'll see how it plays out. We'll see. What is she looking at? Why can't she look forward as she's walking?
Lively there, lads and lasses! I promised the merchants and their prince we'd be off before the tide. You, man, carry that properly. That porcelain is worth more than your life.
Anyone
There are some
who's ever
children we'd
managed
be
other
best to
people
refuse.
can relate to what just happened here.
Captain Vasco.
And you are?
I'm de Sade, the prince's niece. If all is in order, we will soon be embarking on your boat.
It's a ship. Not a boat.
Oh,
Apologies.
Apologies for my asking, but the young governor isn't with you.
He didn't come home this morning. I need to find him before departure.
I hope nothing's happened to him or he hasn't changed his mind. The tide does not wait.
Perhaps he simply celebrated his imminent departure with a little too much enthusiasm. Is everything ready?
We're short a crew member. The cabin boy is missing. But have no fear, we will leave without him if he does not present himself before the tide.
Is he an important member of the crew?
We don't need him for sailing or navigation. He's only a cabin boy.
He must have simply had a bit too much to drink in celebrating his departure. Like another I know.
I doubt that. Jonas was never one to fancy drink. And it's been 2 days since last he was seen. No, I fear something bad has happened to him. Might I ask you, if you hear anything, could you report it to me? I would like to set sail with a clear mind.
she's got you, Vasco. But yeah, I always cringe when they call it a boat. Like every time, I can't help it.
When did you see your cabin boy for the last time?
It's been 2 days since I've had any news at all. It wasn't out of the ordinary until this morning. My men have free shore leave when we're at dock. But the day of departure, every able-bodied sailor must be present on the ship.
Does the boy know anyone in Seren?
Other than fellow Nords, you mean? I don't think so, but it's difficult to be sure.
This is strange. Why did they give you new dialogue at the top instead of progressing it towards the bottom? That's weird. And that's another thing. With games, they often do a bad job showing you what you've already selected, showing you what's new to say. Some of them address this, but you would think that every developer would know this by now, and it would be a consistent thing to make sure we can tell the difference.
Miss Jonas, does he have any close friends amongst the crew?
In tradition, we are all members of the same family. But yes, there would be Flavia and Lauro.
Might I have a word with them?
As you wish. You'll find them over there, in port.
Have you seen anyone wandering about? Suspicious looking. Maybe clandestine passengers.
Take a look around. There are far too many comings and goings to spot possible stowaways. As long as they don't try and get on my ship, I pay no attention to them. That said, we did catch ourselves a smuggler just a while ago.
A smuggler? Maybe he could be of some use. Where could I find him?
In the port jails, not far from the warehouses. May I ask you, why the sudden interest in smugglers and the odd stowaway?
Haeva's gonna be honest. Mind you, it really doesn't matter which one you choose. It has the same outcome from what I can tell.
A couple of heretics are planning on leaving Seren. The ambassador of Thélème has entrusted me with the job of capturing them.
Happy to see that you trust me enough to seek my counsel in the affair. Just so happens that I heard someone talking about the couple. The Cardinal's men are far from discreet. They're making quite some ruckus, asking to search our warehouses. We, of course, refused entry. Only the Nords have access. I'm sorry, Your Excellency, but I'm certain your potential stowaways aren't far. But we won't allow you to make a search to grab them. Not officially, at least.
What do you mean?
That discretion and malice are often more useful than titles and words.
You haven't heard anything about my cousin by chance, have you? To be honest, we were hoping to find him here.
Did you say he was intending on celebrating his departure? My men spoke of a rather animated party that went down at the Coin Tavern, but I haven't heard
I'm sure.
else.
That isn't the safest place in the city. I hope nothing has happened to him.
Let's go and find him. Thank you, Captain.
Happy to be of some help.
Kurt, you startled me. Forgot you were there. I was stop playing. But yeah, I understand why, because of how much work it would have been, but the fact that that the characters you're with have almost nothing to say in most scenes or under most conditions, it could be a little immersion breaking.
Could you tell me a little about your guild?
We are masters of the oceans. Our ships can sail where no others dare.
Thanks to your magic, so I've heard. How do you become a Nord?
Our magic, yes, that only the Nords master. As for your question, any child born on one of our ships is sea-born. He is a Nord from birth. Others are sea-gifted, joining the Nords for different reasons, often from a young age. It's how the guild is made and maintains its numbers.
Could you tell me anything about our destination? The island of Teofredi?
It is a magnificent place. Wild. Spared from your wars and your mines, for now. The natives have a relationship with their land and consider it sacred. They're a very friendly people, welcoming, that will appear to you strangely familiar. I've also heard that there are a great many exotic creatures, some enormous. But I wouldn't know what else to tell you. I've never strayed far from the ports.
What do you think of our port?
Are you referring to this one? It is the biggest high seas port on the continent. Thanks to your prince, even though it remains part of your city, it holds a particular status for us Nords. Certain zones are owned completely by us, and maritime law holds office. It's a good port. Were it not for the Malachor, it would be a pleasant place to dock.
That's a fair point.
Be back soon, Captain.
We need to have a word with that people smuggler the sailor mentioned.
He's a Captain Kurt, like yourself. And in order to interrogate the smuggler, we'll need to find a way into his jail.
I like how he called him a sailor, like right in front of him. It's like, he's right there, Kurt. He's a captain. Let's talk to this guy. Clearly wants to talk to us. Oh, it's the teacher. What's he doing? Okay.
I still don't see Constantine at your side. I hope he hasn't been the victim of any foul play.
Don't worry. We'll find him in time for departure.
I certainly hope so. Would you be in need of my help in any way?
God, Constantine is the victim of foul play. Like, even if you hadn't seen the previous episode or anything like that, I mean, come on. We knew he was the victim of foul play. That's always the case with a game. It's just how it works.
What will be your official title on Tifredi? Or are you just here to keep an eye on us?
Come now, don't be ridiculous. I'm coming in the capacity of official advisor, nothing more. But His Highness has also asked me to report to him on certain strategic observations. I am therefore required to take note of all events, chart the island and its resources, but also obtain as much knowledge as possible concerning the more dangerous creatures of the island. Your help will be extremely valuable to me. I've no longer the legs of an adventurer.
It's always a privilege to help, Master. I need to be leaving. I have quite a few things to do before we raise anchor.
Including find Constantine. Why is he still... What is he doing? Anyway, I have to say, so far I like the voice acting. I think it's really good, to be honest with you, and I think they've chose the right voices for how these characters look. But as I said before, I think this is going to be fun. I think this is going to be a game that we enjoy. We're going to end this part for now. I thank you for coming out. I look forward to next time. See you later. Tons out.